the prevailing wisdom in our industry has been that he's got a TV job in his back pocket.
Right.
And since we're getting closer and closer to the point where he may be taking it, the word on the street has been he's going to go work for Fox. Now, that doesn't mean he will, because now that he's in play, I would assume that there will be aggressive attempts made by every network to try to hire Mike Tomlin, because why wouldn't you try to hire Mike Tomlin? One of the things I addressed yesterday, Chris, curious for your take on this, between a pregame show desk and working games.
Right.
I want the guy to work games. I think he'd be a revelation working games. I think his ability to fire off those catchphrases, some of which seem to be made up on the fly. He knows how to speak in quick sound bites.
Exactly
a lot of the guys that do games can't talk in 20 seconds.
Right.
They just can't do it. I could name names, but I won't. I only have 20 seconds. But Mike Tomlin can. He can do it, and he'd be great at it. He would be early Tony Romo, because something's happened since early Tony Romo. And I don't know whether we just got used to it because it was so different, and it was different in a good way, and now it's different in a way that irritates people. I don't understand it, because to me, Tony Romo now isn't all that much different than Tony Romo when he first showed up. It was just different. John Madden, when he showed up, different. When Mike Tomlin does it, if he does it, he's going to be different. The problem is, on all those seats, there isn't like a prime seat available unless somebody makes one available, and you can make it available right in the check to buy out the person who has, and the network can still say, I don't want you, I want Mike Tomlin instead. So I think every network's going to want him. He'll be able to dictate his terms, and I'm rooting for him wanting to call games, because we may only have a year of him before he's back in coaching.
Yeah, that'll be the risk of hiring him and going down that lane with him. But I am with you, where, of course, I look at it and go, yeah, he'd be great at a desk and certainly would give a little wisdom. But we know when you're at a desk, you got to share time. And when you put him, I think, I'm with you, I think it would be his own little way, like John Gruden was. John Gruden, I thought, was awesome in Monday Night Football, with Tirico back in the day. And a lot because of what you were talking about. And Tomlin, I think, can do the same thing. And maybe even in a simpler way, and not get into all the football jargon about 96 power king and all that, where people are like, I don't know what that means, right? But
got to cross the face.
Right. Some
you
of that stuff.
You got to cross the face, and you got to have inside leverage.
Right. There was a lot of that went over the heads of, like, my Aunt Wendy, where she'd be like, what is he talking about? I don't know. Mike Tomlin, I do think, would be able to simplify that type of stuff right there. And I'm with you.
And I'm not talking about Gruden. I'm talking about the guys who do it now.
Yeah, that get into scouty terms and all these
deliberately
things.
They get into scouty terms because they want to impress people, and they don't care if it alienates the audience.
Yeah, right. It's like most of the audience is like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but sure. So that Tomlin, I think's messaging, as you know, and we've been around him in person, whatever else, it's strong. He'd be able to live in time, be able to kind of manage the game and tell you what they're doing. And I agree with you totally. He'd be awesome in a booth. But yeah, I don't get the sense that going to TV will be a long-term thing. I'd be shocked if that was the case for Mike Tomlin, because I just have always looked at him as he's a football junkie. He thrives in the competition of day-to-day, whatever it is, evaluating players, coaching the coaches to get ready for the offseason. He's comfortable with, hey, okay, we're here, we're working, let me get a bag of chips, we're going to watch film, and we're going to hang out, and we're going to study football all day and come up with a game plan. That's who he is. So I don't expect it to be a long sabbatical out of football, but 1 year, I certainly could see that.
I'm not going to name names again, but I'm reminded of a current 3-person booth where the two analysts seem to be in an arm wrestling match to see who can out-jargon the other. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now,
you're on a roll.
The reality is this, too. I firmly believe when Bill Cowher left the Steelers after the 2006 season, he intended to come back at some point. He got comfortable in TV and realized, you know what? I got a prominent platform. I'm getting paid good money.
Right.
and I don't have to worry about a scoreboard.
That's right.
I think back to when Terry Bowden, we have two Bowden references now on the show, Bobby and now Terry. When Terry Bowden went into TV after he had coached at Auburn and wherever else he coached before he went into TV, he's like, hey, this is pretty good.
Right.
This is pretty good. Can't get fired here.
Yeah, that's right. If you can get one of those jobs,
well, you
right?
can.
Which we know Mike Tomlin can.
If you try hard enough, you can get fired.
You definitely can. But if you do your job and work and you continue to be, true to who you are, like Bill Cowher does, all right, well, yeah, you're front and center on the desk. And that's where it's awesome, and I do get it. And, yeah, Bill Cowher, he's a New York socialite, and I see him around, and he's, he went from tough Pittsburgh head coach with drool coming out of his mouth as he's yelling at the referees to now I see him, and he's got a scarf on, and he's all dressed up and Mr. Smooth. So, yeah, life is good. Bill's awesome. I'm having fun there, of course. But, I could certainly see that. I would be shocked if that happened with Tomlin, but to your point, I always did think Bill Cowher, there's no way he would sit out too long and he'd get back into it too. So you never know.
The other thing too, and I guess I need to tread lightly here because we're on a pregame show, but it's not a daytime pregame show, a morning pregame show. I would submit to you.
Yeah.
And I may squander any future employment opportunities on Sunday morning pregame shows, not that I want them at this stage of my career and life, but I think the pregame shows on Sunday morning are entirely worthless relative to how they used to be. They used to be appointment viewing. They used to be required because it was the only way you could find stuff out about the games that started at 1 o'clock. The NFL today, 50 years ago, was a godsend.
It was the best.
It was incredible.
Right.
It was because you had nowhere to find out stuff. All you got, folks, there was a day, and please feel free to play the piano. I won't give you the middle finger. I won't scratch my head in a way to simulate a middle finger. But when I was growing up and I fell in love with football, thank you. Back in my day, I would only know about the Steelers. I think it's one of the reasons why I didn't become a Steelers fan, because you open up the newspaper and it's only the Steelers. Like, there's 25 other teams. At the time, kids, there were only 25 other teams. I want to read about the other teams. You turn on the local news, and when it's time for the sports, after they go through 20 minutes of blah, 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 Nixon this, Gerald Ford that, shut the hell up, give me the sports, it's only the Steelers. It's only the Steelers.
Right.
And, come on, man, I want to know more about the other teams. So
what
the only way
about
to
the
ever
Vikings?
find anything out about any of the other teams,
Right.
exactly, was the pregame shows. And I'm telling you, relative to 50 years ago, the pregame shows today on Sundays are completely worthless. And I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but it's true. For those of us who have been consuming the product for 50 years, relative to that, the pregame shows on Sunday mornings, not Sunday nights, different, because we're reacting in real time to the games that are being played, and we're trying to, at least ideally, set the agenda, of what's going to be talked about, ideally, into the next week. Ideally, but the morning, so Tomlin would be wasted there. He'd be wasted there, and that's not my pitch to say, Mike, come join us, because we kind of got a full house as it is.
Well,
that's for somebody else to figure out.
If he comes join us, my ass will probably be off the show.
Somebody, I'm not going to say anymore, but the reality is,
You're just going to kill all the shows, huh? Come on. What were you going to say?
This is what happens.
Let me hear.
This is what happens when you sleep 4 hours too many nights. This is what happens. You get sleep deprived, and there's a fine line between sleep deprived and inebriated on a Wednesday morning. And I can promise you, I am definitely sleep deprived, and I am not yet inebriated. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.